on this episode of the Data Nerd Podcast.
So now the question becomes, what's the value of coding?
I'm your host, Nisar Ahmed. Join me as we explore the inner data nerd inside all of us, dive into the world of data alongside special guests who not only share their wealth of experience and knowledge, but also unveil what truly makes them data nerds. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a comment wherever you listen. And for all episodes, plus exclusive merch like the Data Nerd hat, head over to the datanerdpodcast.com. On this episode, I'm joined by Saad Rais, Analyt IQ corporate trainer and artificial intelligence manager. I teach too, and you're an instructor too. How long have you been teaching for?
Well, 8 years.
Yeah, about same here, around the same time. Do you feel that a lot has changed? Not in respect to how you teach. Well, it could be how you teach too, but with technology and how that determines the way that you're teaching, or like do you think things have changed 8 years ago compared to now?
Absolutely. Well, actually, just in the past couple of years, things have changed drastically with agentic AI. So just to lay the landscape out, like when we talk about AI, like what does AI mean? And it's kind of funny for me to say traditional AI, but what we call discriminative AI, it has to do with predictions and forecasting and classification, regression, and it involves coding and that's discriminative AI, and that's what we've been teaching in our data science programs.
Hmm.
But things have moved forward now with generative AI and now agentic AI. So with generative AI, you're not just making a prediction on the prompt that's being entered, but you're also now making a prediction on what content should be generated, what the response should be from that prompt.
Hmm.
And so that's been a game changer, but more than that has been agentic AI because now it's not just about making predictions and classification. Now the agentic AI can just perform a task for you with sort of a type of independent reasoning and planning, and it even has like some memory to use the communication you've had with it previously to inform the current task that it has to perform. So now the question becomes, what's the value of coding?
Yeah, that's
What's
true.
the value of learning the different machine learning algorithms like k-nearest neighbors and logistic regression? There is a value, but now I think there's we need to rethink how do we package and how do we deliver content because in the program I'm not sure where do you teach? Sorry, is it
So I teach like 10-week certification programs. It's more focused on analytics, not so
right?
much on the programming side, but it's more about data visualization, the analytics workflow, SQL. There's some SQL, so but it's not, my focus is not on the data science side,
Right.
but it's still impacted even on the
Right.
analytics side as well.
Yeah, because you can just have an agent do the analytical work for you, and you
Yes.
may not have any idea what's happening in the background. I teach at University of Toronto and York University in the data science certificate programs, and
Mm,
most of my students are almost all of them are adult learners, and so they're coming into the program looking to upskill themselves so that they can develop, grow in their careers, or because they want a career change, or because they're currently unemployed and they wanted to get into the job market, and AI seems to be the big thing that maybe there's a job market for. And so they're really looking for tangible value that they can action in their careers, as opposed to perhaps undergrad university students who are doing a degree for the sake of getting a degree or for the sake of getting into some other program or to fulfill course requirements or to get good grades. That might be their motivation more than the actual gaining skills that they can apply in the workforce.
Yeah.
Uh,
I have the same, it's the same, same for me. Same, these are more, uh, adults who are already working professionals for the most part, but they're looking to upskill or maybe change the trajectory of their careers. I like
yeah.
it because, I feel that they're taking it because they want to, and it's not just to a check mark on their way to get a degree, right? They actually want to
Right.
learn the content.
But I'm sure you feel there's a bit of a pressure that you have to deliver, you have to provide them with valuable content that they can action in their careers.
Yeah.
And so the question becomes now, what is valuable to them at this point in time? Is it coding? Is that a valuable skill now with vibe coding out there? And I'll tell you like a story. I
Mhm.
um, do you know of a Commodore 64? Do you know where Commodore 64 is?
Yeah, yeah.
You do? Okay, so you're you're pretty old then. Uh
I
yeah.
mean, you
So
can't tell by my gray hair.
yeah. So I had a Commodore 16. So for those of you who don't know, the number refers to the RAM in the machine. So it's actually like 16 kilobytes of RAM. Now I
Yeah,
think the standard machine has 16 gigabytes of RAM.
yeah,
So there wasn't too much you could do on it, but one thing you could do on it was programming in BASIC. I don't know if you remember the
yeah.
language.
Yeah. My actually my dad used to teach basic.
Oh
He was a
yeah.
teacher, computer science teacher. He used to teach basic. I remember.
Oh, okay, okay. So I actually became very good at programming and I actually excelled in computer science. I think I was like one of the top, or I was the top student in computer science in high school.
Hmm.
But my father, who was also in the computer programming field,
Yeah.
that's why he got me that Commodore 16. He actually discouraged me from getting into computer science. Computer science at that time was mostly just computer programming. And he said that computer programming is a dying, it's a dying
Wait,
skill
he said this
because,
back then?
yeah, he said it back then. I'm not going to say how far back.
No, I know, but this is I mean, he's pretty good at predicting the future.
Well, he was saying it from the perspective of now there are all these softwares being developed.
Right.
So the software is taking over the need for doing because a lot of the tasks that softwares do now had to be done through computer programming at that time.
Yeah.
And so he felt that now software are being developed and they're taking over or reducing the need for doing manual programming. So that's where he was coming from.
Mm,
And it actually, like, I ended up doing a degree in mathematics. I have no idea why I did that, but I did. And then after that, I got employed, and that employment, I actually used a lot of coding because it involved statistics and statistical analysis. And so when you get into statistics, there is a lot of coding involved.
mhm.
We used SAS. I'm not sure if you're familiar with
Yeah.
SAS.
Yeah.
And then pursued a subsequent degree in biostatistics, and there again there was coding involved in SAS. And for my data science courses, we used R.
Yeah.
And so coding never died out when I was in doing my university studies, and even during my employment, even until now. Um, but now I feel like my father, because I'm thinking. I don't know how valuable, I mean, I'm thinking about it. Like, how
Yeah.
valuable is computer programming if a machine can do the programming for you? Yeah.
So I could ask the question too. So like, why do we need to learn SQL if we can just get ChatGPT or Claude to write the code for us? Here's what you're more on the programming side, and you can probably speak to this more than I can. But to, but AI can make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
So knowing the code, you still need to audit it. You can't just copy and paste and trust that what they produce is correct. So from that perspective, is it still not important to know that, or are you saying that maybe less people need to know it at that level?
I'm not sure what I'm thinking about it right now. I completely like agree with you.
Mm,
I'm just thinking about what like at the end it's about what the students value more and what the industry values more. And I'm not I think we're in a transition right now.
mm,
So the technical term for letting a machine do the coding for you is vibe coding.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so for your audience, vibe coding, it's about using natural language prompts to describe a solution, and then you let the AI agent do all of the back-end coding work and even create the deliverable for you. And you're just communicating a vibe about what you want. And I think this term was coined by one of the founders of OpenAI. So what you end up doing is you become the data scientist is no longer the programmer, they're just the architect of the solution.
There's
And
still a
so
skill set in vibe coding, though, right? Not everyone can vibe code the same. You still have to know the right questions to ask and
yeah,
effective way of prompting, right?
that's true. Yeah. But
Because yeah, I read your post about creating your website, and
yes,
that's vibe coding, right? And
exactly.
so you have what is it? And how do you say it? Is analytic IQ or is it analytic?
Yeah, I haven't really thought about how to pronounce it, but it's Analyt IQ. So there's the
Analytic IQ.
IQ,
Yeah.
Analyt IQ training, corporate training. Yes, I created, so I knew nothing about web design and I was going to outsource it to somebody, but for some reason, I wanted control over the website and
Yeah.
how it looks and feels. And I just felt like I needed to do it myself. And so I used one of these services, web development services that have the hosting and domains all packaged into one.
Mhm.
And I had a lot of trouble building the website. And I was actually explaining to one of my friends at a restaurant over dinner
Mhm.
how that I'm struggling with building this website. And he said he pulled out his phone. He said, talk to the phone and tell it what type of website you want.
Mhm.
And I described the website. And I said, okay, this is the name, this is the service that I'm providing, these are the types of courses I'd be offering, this is the format that I'd be offering the courses in, and this is the type of audience I'm targeting. And I think I spent maybe, I don't know, 15, 20, 30 seconds uh, articulating what the website should look like.
Mhm.
And he recorded everything I said
Mhm.
and then transcribed it through one app and then put the transcription into Lovable.
Mhm.
And in, I think like 2 minutes, it created like this amazing website. I was just shocked. I was like, wow, like I've been struggling all this time to build a website. And here over dinner at a restaurant, he was able to create a website for me. The challenge though was that I had already purchased this hosting service. And so what I wanted to do was transfer over the website I created, generated in Lovable to this other hosting service.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a way to do it. I did some YouTube searches to try to figure out how to get it done. But I just couldn't do it. Like there's just too many steps and there are things that I wasn't comfortable dabbling into.
Yeah.
And so I just, what I did end up doing was I used the website generated by Lovable as a prototype and I tried to recreate it in the hosting service
Mm.
that I'd already perused.
Yeah.
So that's again getting to your point where you still need to have some knowledge about what's happening in the background in order to make changes to it, to use it properly.
Yeah.
Um,
So
that's definitely. Mhm.
you brought up a good point, and this just sparked a thought. You mentioned prototype. I think using AI is great for prototyping, and I'm going to bring in my background. So I work when developing business intelligence solutions, right? Data visualization, right? And some people say, do we still need to know how to to do that because we can just get AI to create dashboards for us. I don't know if you have experience using AI to create dashboards, but from my experience, I feel like it can create prototypes for me, but it's not a working solution. I still have to take it to the next step. So I think from a prototyping standpoint, like that's part of the job is prototyping. I think it's great to do that, but then taking it to a level where it's optimized and actually working, I still think you need to know what to do.
So the problem that you have is that, and it's actually not a problem, it's actually an advantage, is that
Mm.
you can recognize the advantages and limitations of the solution that was developed through generative AI because you know how things were done before that solution came about.
Yeah.
For someone who doesn't have that context, all they see is that, okay, I don't know how to develop a dashboard, and here I just developed a dashboard, and that's as good as any dashboard for them. But for people with that context, they can discern when and in what situations the tool works well and when it doesn't, and how to make modifications to the solution. So you have that view that others may not have, and I think that's I don't know if there's a principle like around this concept of having prior knowledge of how things work gives you a better vantage point on a new solution and its functionality.
But is it a problem if let's suppose you don't know, you don't have the experience and you're just vibe coding and you're taking the solution that AI is providing. If it gets you what you need, is that a bad thing? Like it's okay if but maybe it's kind of like ignorance is bliss. If you don't know what it's missing, then if it's working, then why do I need to take it a step further?
Yeah, I think my take on this is that agents, they're tools, and we as practitioners in the field, we have to be masters of that tool rather than becoming dependent on those tools. And this is not specific. This is just a general
Yeah.
statement, but I can go specific into, for example, schools and students in
Mm.
school. Now, students they're using generative AI tools to create, just to generate projects, essays. And it's gotten to the point where students will just let a generative AI tool create an essay for them,
Yeah.
submit it, and the teacher knows they can tell that this is
Yeah.
generative AI generated. They can see it, and they'll ask the student. One of my friends, he's a teacher, and he asked a student who clearly used generative AI to write an essay. And they asked the student, do you know what this one word means that you put in the essay? And the student said, I don't know what that means.
Mm.
And so he said, why do you even use a word in your essay if you don't even know what it means? And so I think this sort of handing over, outsourcing our cognitive and intellectual capabilities to machines, um, I think that's going to lead to a type of cognitive atrophy that we
Mm.
need to be concerned about as well. So I do, coming back to just generative AI in the context of data science,
Yeah.
I feel like so I, I feel like coding is important. Like I enjoy this is going to sound kind of nerdy, but this is your podcast is called the Data Nerd, so I
Yeah.
think I'm in a
Yeah.
good space right
You're in
now.
the right space. Yeah.
Yeah. But there is a sense of gratification through solving a problem algorithmically using programming code. Um, there's some gratification to that, and uh, and it gives you more control. There's a saying, there's an Arab proverb that if you have an itch,
Mm.
then the one most capable of scratching that itch is yourself, right? Because you know exactly where to like scratch that itch, how much to scratch, how hard to scratch, how to scratch, where to scratch. And so just having that control over your program or your solution is really valuable to the person who's developing it. But the question then is though, then you fall behind because the person who's using agentic AI, they can scale out the work that's taking you weeks to develop. They can do in minutes,
Hmm.
and with less resources, with minimal effort, with lower costs.
Yeah.
And so the question is about productivity and profitability. So
Yeah.
that's the other side of things.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting time. I mean, things change so fast. Uh, if you're not keeping up with AI, like, where if you're somebody who, let's suppose, like, you enjoy coding and you don't want to use that skill set, it's going to be hard to keep up with that, is it not? Because it's so easy now to like, I mean, from a certain perspective, I'm actually kind of grateful that I grew up not having to depend on AI because I was able to learn it.
Yep.
If I was starting from scratch now, I wonder if I would still want to learn how to code, or does the focus shift now? Is it about is the proper use of AI or agentic AI how to solve problems? Is that how we look at it? And then the more problems we solve, the better we are at it. And there's a skill set in using AI, right? It's not all the way you use AI and the way I use AI can be more or less productive. You could be more productive in its use than I can. Doesn't mean that just because I have access to the tool that I know how to use it.
Yeah, there's definitely uses for agentic AI. Um, and it just we're gonna have to reshift our way of thinking about how we do our work. And
Yeah.
there's certainly benefits to agentic AI. And I can go through, a list of ways to use agentic AI, but I think where agentic AI has its place is in doing some of like the grunt work, so that individuals can focus on other tasks that require human judgment and
Yeah.
human interaction and emotion and communication. But um, agentic AI, it's great for example, the blank page problem, where you want to start something and you don't know how to start. Often getting from 0 to 1 is the hardest step. And so just letting generative AI create some initial content for you so that you can build off of it or just to get some bounce some ideas from it is really valuable with agentic AI. You can also do research through agentic AI and generative AI to find relevant material, to scrape the web to get, to do
It's just
research.
essentially it's a new way to search. People aren't using Google anymore. They're going straight into ChatGPT to search, right?
Yeah.
That's the new search tool.
Yeah. 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 And not only can you do searching, now you can synthesize the material using Notebook LM. So it
Yeah.
will just curate and summarize all of your research. So that's the other benefit, is just synthesizing the material.
But
Um,
Saad, you and I are around the same age, right? And when I was growing up, when I had to do a research paper, I would go to a library, pull out all the books and actually read them and synthesize it together. You know how much time that took me? Now you can just do it in one prompt. But is that a good thing? Like, I,
yeah.
if somebody gives me a document and it's 50 pages. I'm not going to read the 50 pages. I'm going to run it through AI and ask it to summarize it for me. Give me the what's it called? TLDR, too long, didn't read,
Right.
right? Summary. What do you
I
think?
think
Is this a good or bad thing? Like, or is it just a different, is it just the new reality? It's just we have to be accustomed to this now.
I think it's just an inevitable like direction we're headed because of just the massive gains in productivity and profitability as well, right? It's about
Yeah.
I definitely think that those who embrace agentic AI are going to probably be ahead of the curve. But there are like issues that still there are like kinks in the process that still need to be sorted out. For example, just security and data leakage. Like you can't
Oh yeah.
just do analytics or yeah, working with data blindly and not know like where is that data going and how is it being used and where I mean that's something that needs to be sorted out. I know most corporations use Copilot and
Yeah.
the Copilot is designed to be like self-contained within the organization. I don't know why, but I find Copilot is not as effective as some of the other tools. I'm not sure why, because my understanding is Copilot is built on top of ChatGPT, but it
You
doesn't
can
sort of.
select the models from even you could select ChatGPT models, even Claude models now in Copilot.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I just
So
stopped using Copilot altogether. It felt like it wasn't as effective, but yeah, I'm not sure. So I didn't know that you can use Claude and ChatGPT as well using Copilot
yeah.
within your internal network for your organization.
Yeah.
But that's definitely a concern. And the other concern is um, there needs to be a way. I think you used the term audit. There needs to be a way to audit and critique what's been generated and to make changes where necessary. And for that, you need you need to know what it's doing and how it's creating its product. You need to know that step-by-step process and have knowledge of it. So
Mm.
I don't know, like maybe you're right. Maybe not everybody needs to have that knowledge, but some people definitely do.
So I went to a Microsoft AI event so I'm in the New York area, right? So in New York City, they were hosting, a Microsoft AI day. Like just basically they wanted to get people from different organizations to come and kind of showcase Microsoft and their involvement in AI and and Copilot and agentic AI. And what they were saying was there's different stages, phases in AI, right? There's the phase one is uh, agentic AI, where you ask questions and you get answers. Phase two is when you start working with agents and you have them complete tasks for you. And phase three is where essentially you're going to have autonomous agents working even when you're not. And they're basically your team. And so the way that I envision it is in phase three is I'm going to be a manager, but not of people, but of agents. So we'll all be like individual contributor managers managing these group of agents. And so maybe I still need to have the knowledge of what's correct or not in order to audit what's being done. But you're not going to need uh, that many managers to manage all of those agents.
Yeah, I think one rule of thumb when it comes to AI agents or even autonomous AI agents, they'll definitely be able to, perform the task, but it's not going to be accountable for its impacts or its effects. And so the user has to be, or the manager has to be prepared to take accountability. And so when you're handing off a task to an AI agent, you want to think about accountability.
Yeah.
If the agent makes a mistake, are you ready to take accountability for it? Right. So I would avoid maybe using agentic AI, at least right now, as of this recording, right now, situations that require human judgment, such as, should I publish content or not? Is this going to breach um, is this going to be offensive or breach some sort of privacy? Those are sort of judgment calls that require human intervention,
Hmm.
but also like stakeholder engagement, building relationships, interactions that require empathy. For example, sharing news of a tragedy. I mean, you wouldn't want an agent to send that message out. You want to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And then just making decisions about individuals, for example, like healthcare diagnostics or legal sentences or performance reviews, whether you want to fire an employee or not. I mean, you can use agentic AI to gather information and collect information and augment your decision-making process,
Mm.
but to let it be the sole arbiter of what the decision is supposed to be, I don't think we're there yet, or we shouldn't be there.
I like that term you used, augmented. I think of it like augmented intelligence,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But you also talked a lot about this emotional connection and communication. A lot of these, what people call soft skills, right?
yeah.
Does this shed the light on or highlight the importance even more now as we're moving along this trajectory of in the AI evolution of the importance of being able to communicate and connect with people emotionally?
Absolutely. But you know what's funny, or not, I don't know if it's funny, it's interesting is that there was a study that was done about human humans communicating with other humans, and I can't remember what the setting was, but there was an AI agent that was communicating with humans, and then there was another cohort where humans communicating with their customers,
Mm.
and the AI agent actually showed more empathy in the communication than the humans did.
I,
Um,
if I were if I were to guess, I bet it was ChatGPT. They're very empathetic.
okay,
That this is my experience. Different models
yeah.
have different styles, right? And usually ChatGPT is very supportive. That's their style.
Yeah, so regarding like the choice of like the three main players are OpenAI and Gemini and Claude right now. Like
Yeah.
they're dominating the space there, and they keep coming up with new products. Like as of this conversation, there's Claude Design now. They just came out with Claude Design recently. Um, my advice would be to just stick to one provider until you get a good feel for it and it gets a good feel for you, because the conversations you have with the agent are kept in memory, and the AI agent will leverage not that memory when you interact with it in the future. And so stick to one, and then once you're comfortable with it, then you can move on and experiment with others. Like I actually found that Claude was a lot more human-like, and Gemini was a little bit more um, lacked like really bland. But
Mm,
I also found that Gemini was quite powerful. Like it was, and maybe that's just because I was using it, because Gemini is connected to the Google ecosystem, and I just
yeah.
felt that that was a deal breaker for me. But yeah, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Interesting. It's interesting you're saying to stick to one because what I've been seeing out there is people are not doing that. They're they're trying everything.
Um, People will give different advices. I mean, that's yeah, you might think that it's good to experiment with different agents and figure out which one works best for you. But there are a number of factors that go into it. One is, for example, the ecosystem that it's connected to. As I mentioned, Gemini is connected to the Google ecosystem.
Mm.
Then there's also, are you using the free, like which plan are you using and what's included in the plan? So in the free plan for all three different providers, they have a different like number of free tokens that you can use, or I don't know if they call them tokens or
Yeah.
just prompts that can be used. And so you want to check that out as well. And also, for example, Claude, it doesn't generate images, whereas Gemini and OpenAI will. So there's like all these other considerations you want to think about when going
Yes.
with one. But sure, if you want to play around with different agents, that's okay. But I think sticking to one for an extended period of time and then trying another one out gives
Yeah.
you a better way to evaluate how good this agent is for you.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So let's talk about from the perspective of teaching.
Yeah.
If I am a student and I want to learn something, huh, um, do we still need human teachers? Why can I can use a model, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, to teach me what I want and customize it based on my needs, even give me practice question and answers or, go through different levels from easy to all the way to hard, right? Do you see that
Yeah.
changing the landscape of teaching or the way people learn?
People learn differently. I mean, there are these self-training platforms already out there, like DataCamp, for example, is all self-learning.
Mm,
You can, yeah, Coursera as well. They're there, and I've used them and I've benefited from them. Personally, though, it's been more. There's like different factors to consider. One is cost, the other is commuting time, the other is person-to-person interaction. Then there's networking opportunities. There's live support or the lack of it. So there's a number of factors that go into a decision about what type of offering you want to go, whether you want to go with a self-paced training. But I think what you're talking about is it's not self-paced. It's actually live training through a live AI agent. Is that what you're talking
yeah,
about?
that's what it
Okay.
is. You're
Oh,
talking to
okay.
someone still, but
Yeah,
it's
so you're
just
still in,
it's not a human.
that's right. I don't know. I still like, I'll tell you an experience I had with, this is not related to teaching, but it's related again to customer service.
Mm,
I booked a flight through a flight booking website.
hmm
I won't name which one. And this was a while ago. This was in gosh, when was it? Last September.
hmm
Air Canada went on strike,
Yeah.
and my flight was on Air Canada. And I was panicking because I had booked that flight like 10 months ago and I was all ready to go. It was our family vacation trip, and I did not want it to get spoiled because of an Air Canada strike.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to reach the customer service for this flight booking website, and the customer service was an AI agent. And I I could tell that it was an AI agent, even though it used very natural language responses. It didn't use any cookie cutter responses. It used very natural language, but I could still tell that it was an AI agent because of how quick the responses were coming back at me. And I felt like it didn't really understand the fact that because the strike just happened.
Yeah.
And perhaps the AI agent wasn't trained on the fact that there was a strike. And so it wasn't giving me good answers for the strike situation
Mm,
about can I get a refund? Can I rebook on another flight? And it just wasn't giving me good answers. And I just felt that I needed to speak to a human at that point. Like, but I there was no human for me to speak to. And so I think that human interaction when it comes to customer service and I think and training as well, instruction and learning, I do think that human component is important because humans are complicated, and as vast as AI agents are in terms of their capacity to behave like humans, it's just humans are just extremely complicated, and I'm not sure they can completely replace humans. So. I personally would prefer still learning from an actual individual over an AI agent at this point, and at least.
yeah. As of now in 2026, right? I'll ask you 5 years
Yeah.
from now, and your answer may change. Because I
Yeah.
saw I saw a stat on the types of roles that are most at risk with AI. And customer service is right there at the top. And
Yeah, I mean it's cheap. It's definitely cheaper, faster. You can scale it. And it's being used. It's already being used right now, and I think it has a place for it has a place. But then when complications arise, there should be recourse to speaking to a human. right? When there's
Right.
certain nuanced, or not just nuanced, but sudden events that occur that an agent, AI agent, wouldn't be able to address, then there should be someone that can, a human being
I-
that can,
In
that you can
your
speak.
interaction with Air Canada, did you, um, or not with Air, and you weren't talking to Air Canada, you had booked a ticket on Air Canada, right? But your
Yeah,
interaction with that AI agent, did you
yeah.
ask to speak to a human?
Yes.
And what did it say?
It's first, it asked me a few times, like, do you really want to speak to an agent? Or sorry, do you really want to speak to a live agent? Because the wait times are really long, and I've already answered your question, and rest assured, you will be on your flight. So it was discouraging me from asking or speaking to a human.
Hmm.
I found that really weird. And it actually gave me like several, like multiple attempts to discourage me. And then finally it said, okay, hold on, we'll connect you to a live agent. And it just never, I never got connected to a live agent. I kept that chat window open for I think 12 hours, and it never connected me to anyone.
It's funny they call it a live agent. Because when you think of live agent, you're like, what is that agentic still? It's the term agent is it seems very, very AI or agentic, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
They probably
Yeah.
need to change the terminologies now. But yeah, I mean, be honest, I see the trend getting moving more towards
Mhm.
um agentic in nature when it comes to customer service. But you're right, there is a human element that's needed sometimes. Maybe there's a hybrid model that can work.
Yeah, I think we need a transition phase at least. We can't like just jump from, you know, humans to AI agents. I think that's just too harsh and too risky. And so we need some sort of like a transition.
It's like riding a bike. When you're learning to ride a bike, you have training wheels first before you take them off, right?
Yeah. 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 I use the example of like GPS. Often GPS is great for quickly telling you how to get from point A to point B. But if you don't know the geography and you don't know the streets, and the GPS takes you in the wrong place, you could end up, driving into a lake or driving off a cliff. I mean, that's an extreme situation, but you can get lost. And without actually knowing how things work, and without knowing the streets and the geography and how to read signs and all of that, I think you can get yourself into a lot of trouble. And so that's why I feel like, yeah, we agents are really helpful, but that knowledge about how they work is still, or how the work that they've been programmed to do is done. I think you still need that knowledge for now, at least.
Yeah, I agree. So talk to me about your, so we touched about your training, right? So you do training,
Mhm.
is it corporate training that you focus on? Or is it technical and non-technical, or what do you offer?
Yeah, so I have been doing ad hoc corporate training, not because I have marketed it or advertised it, but just because various people just reach out to me and say, hey, can you give us some training on data science or data visualizations, storytelling, or other related analytical related topics? And I thought to myself, if I'm getting clients to reach out to me without me even putting up like a for sale sign,
Mm.
maybe I should make it official and create a program, a training program for corporations. So I came up with analytiq.com, Analyt IQ corporate training, which provides training programs to corporations. So it's day-long workshops or half-day workshops for corporations on analytics and AI related topics, to get corporations to um, become more literate in AI and analytics, with the goal of ultimately driving growth in their organization.
That's a huge thing now because everyone wants to adopt AI, but not everybody knows how to to learn it, right? Like we're being told in the corporate environment, like we use AI, and but the assumption is everyone knows how to use it, but it's not true. It's the big shiny tool now, but if you're not using it properly, it actually may not be more productive for you. You have to know how to use it in a way that will make you more productive, not less productive, and there's the right and wrong way to do it. So I'm assuming that you talk about that in your training as well, or you teach that.
Yeah, so one of my workshops is AI for the workplace, where I go through some AI tools that can help increase productivity and to scale out operations while saving time, money, and resources. So, but to be honest, like even for myself, like because the whole field is moving so rapidly and new tools are constantly being created, and just the whole field is evolving so quickly. Like even for myself, like it's hard to keep up with things.
Yeah.
But I think I have a certain level of understanding of AI agents, which I think can be a benefit to corporations. And I'm someone who is usually a late adopter for technology.
Mhm.
For example, I continued using a cassette tape player when people had long moved on to CD players. This was
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
I was using a Walkman when
Yeah.
people were using CD. I don't know if people know what Walkmans are. You're gonna have to Google that for those that don't know.
But
But
those are cool once upon a time.
they were, yeah, they were. And even a smartphone. I only started using a smartphone like 8 years ago. And that was because of work related reasons. So I'm a late adopter when it comes to technology, but I can tell you that AI agents is not something that you want to wait on. This is like a real game changer that's really going to change the shape of how we do our work and how corporations organize themselves.
What is it? What's different about this than all other technologies? Why do you feel differently about this?
It's just the exponential benefit in terms of scaling your operations, doing more faster with less resources at exponential levels. It's just exponential levels. Like you can do tasks that take weeks in minutes. I mean, that's a huge game changer. It's a huge game changer. And you've talked about how certain occupations are now being taken over by AI agents.
Hmm.
And so you want to get on the side of AI agents before it takes you over.
Yeah. And you brought up a good point about so you were saying that it's hard to keep up. Even though you're teaching it, you're trying to keep up. You're trying to learn yourself. And
Yeah.
as part of that learning process, you're also trying to teach others. I think that's what you have to do. Actually, that's sometimes what I do when I teach. I learn by teaching. I actually put a post up
Yep.
about that on LinkedIn this week.
Mhm.
Like the best way I learn is by teaching because it forces me to learn to the
Yep.
extent that I am the expert. I'm putting quotes up, right? Expert. I'm not the expert, but I know enough to teach. And even when it comes to AI, I'm not an AI expert, but at work, I try to teach people or my coworkers about AI as much as I can to the extent where now they think that I'm the AI expert, but I'm not. I'm just like them. I'm just teaching as I'm learning.
Yeah, the teacher is the best learner, and that's I think the secret of teachers, which they may not share with everyone, is that we're learning in the process of teaching, and that's why I enjoy teaching, not because well, part of it is because I find it gratifying that I'm able to empower someone with knowledge and improve their work or some aspect of their lives. I think that's really gratifying to know that I can do that, but also because it allows me to have that knowledge be better ingrained in my, neural pathways. It's just a great way to learn as well. So
Yeah.
I agree with that fully.
You don't have to know everything to teach it, right?
No,
Yeah.
no.
That's the
And I think that
misconception that you need to know all the answers. There's nothing wrong with saying I don't know either.
absolutely, I think the best teachers are those um, that are forthcoming with the fact that they humble themselves and say that we're teachers and we're going to teach you, but there's aspects that we may not be able to. I may not be able to answer all of your questions, but we're going to park those questions, and I will look for answers to those questions, and we'll get back to you if that
You'll,
happens.
yeah, well, you'll figure it out, right?
Yeah,
I think that's what we have to do here with AI tools. We just have to figure it out. It's moving so fast. Um,
totally.
I don't know if there are any real experts out there. It's just everyone's kind of learning it together. That's,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the reality of it. But no, listen, Saad, this has been great. How can people get in touch with you?
You can visit my website, analytiqtraining.com. So the IQ there is for like the IQ.
Yeah,
So you can check out my website and get in touch with me through the website.
awesome. Um, can I
And
connect on
Nisar.
LinkedIn as well?
Oh, yes. Yes. I have a LinkedIn profile that you can reach me at as well. So just search up my name, Saad Rais. I don't think there's another Saad Rais there, but um,
I'll put the
I
links
think,
up. I'll
yeah,
put
if
the
you could put
links
the
up.
link up, that would be great.
Yeah, awesome.
I
Great.
wanted
No,
to just one comment. I just saw that you have Montreal Canadiens. Is that a
yes,
calendar or a poster?
it's a calendar.
Calendar. Okay, I got to show you something. Just give me 1 second.
Okay.
Go
Oh,
Leafs!
do you want to put that up now? Do you know who's in the playoffs now and who's not?
Uh, yeah. I'm a battered and bruised Leafs fan. But at this point, I'm at a stage where any Canadian team I'm good with, to win the cup, and I wish part of me wants them to win, but part of me also wants to see their demise as well for some reason. But I'll be happy to see them win.
Listen, I don't know if I can say the same for about the Leafs. I'm sorry. As as a Montreal Canadiens fan, it was kind of ingrained in us that
Yeah.
I think the one thing that unites all of Canada is what? Can you guess? Other than people in Toronto, is
Anti-Toronto,
anti-Toronto,
anti-Leafs.
anti-Leafs. But listen, you have to admit, the Canadians got a pretty good team, and the future looks bright. So
They look good. They look good. But what's interesting is that even Canadians fans talk more about the Leafs than the Canadians themselves. Did you ever notice
it's
that?
kind of like it's kind of like they love to hate the Leafs, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I wish the Canadians I was actually hoping the Senators would make it far, but I think they're on their way
they're
out.
done. I think they're done. And by the time this podcast is released, they might even be eliminated. So we'll
Okay.
see.
Yeah.
Anyways, for those who don't know, like Saad and I have known each other. Like we're not directly related, but we have some family connections. So I've known Saad for a long time. So it's a great to talk to you, and hopefully we'll meet again.
Yeah. Thanks for having me and inviting me to the podcast. We appreciate it.
If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe and leave a rating or review. It really helps more data nerds discover the show. You can find all episodes, plus exclusive merch like the Data Nerd hat, and more at thedatanerdpodcast.com. Until next time, stay curious, keep learning, and embrace your inner data nerd.